You have been fasting for 16 hours. The hunger is real. The moment your eating window opens, your hand reaches for orange juice, a bowl of cereal, or a slice of toast. It feels like the right choice: light, quick, energizing. But here is what is actually happening inside your body in that moment, and why this choice may be silently damaging one of the most important organs you have. Today we are going to talk about the one thing most people get completely wrong about intermittent fasting. Not the fast itself, but how they break it. Because the food you eat in the first 20 to 30 minutes after a fast can either protect your pancreas, or put it through a level of stress that, repeated over months and years, can seriously compromise your metabolic health. Let us start with what happens to your body during a fast. When you have not eaten for 16 to 18 hours, your blood sugar drops to its lowest level of the day. In response, your pancreas dramatically reduces its insulin output. Your liver begins converting stored glycogen into glucose to keep your brain and organs running. Then, when glycogen runs out, your body shifts into fat-burning mode, which is exactly the metabolic benefit most people are fasting for in the first place. At this point, your pancreas is resting. Your insulin sensitivity is at its peak, and your body is in a uniquely receptive state. What you eat next determines whether you protect that state or destroy it. Here is the core problem. When you break a prolonged fast with high glycemic foods, sugar, juice, refined carbohydrates, sweet coffee drinks, your blood sugar rises sharply and rapidly. But because your pancreas has been in a low-output resting state, it now has to suddenly produce a massive surge of insulin to deal with that spike. Researchers have confirmed that blood glucose swings, rapid rises, followed by rapid crashes, create sustained pressure on the insulin-producing beta cells of the pancreas. This repeated pattern is one of the key mechanisms behind progressive insulin resistance, and ultimately type 2 diabetes. You can fast diligently for months and still accelerate metabolic damage if you break every fast with the wrong foods. There is another layer to this. Postprandial blood sugar spikes, particularly the sharp ones that follow fasting, trigger oxidative stress in blood vessel walls and activate systemic inflammatory pathways. Over time, this contributes not just to pancreatic strain, but to cardiovascular damage and cognitive decline as well. Fasting poorly broken is worse than not fasting at all. So let us be specific about the foods that cause the most damage when used to break a fast. Fruit juice is at the top of the list. Many people reach for it because it feels healthy and natural. But when fruit is juiced or blended without its fiber, the sugars fructose and glucose absorb almost instantly into an empty stomach, sending blood sugar vertical. Commercial fruit juices often contain added sugars on top of this. After a 16-hour fast, a glass of orange juice produces a blood sugar response that is dramatically steeper than the same glass would cause after a normal meal. White bread, white rice, and refined pasta are equally damaging in this context. With almost no dietary fiber to slow their digestion, refined carbohydrates break down and absorb extremely quickly in a fasted gut. The blood sugar spike that follows is intense. Then comes the sharp insulin surge, followed by a blood sugar crash, followed by cravings for more sugar. This blood glucose roller coaster stresses the pancreas repeatedly with every cycle. Sweetened coffee drinks and energy drinks are another serious offender. A caramel latte with 2 pumps of syrup carries 30 to 40 grams of sugar. Consumed after a fast, that sugar hits an empty stomach directly. Compounding the problem, caffeine stimulates cortisol release, and cortisol independently raises blood glucose. A sweet coffee drink after fasting delivers a double hit of blood sugar elevation from the sugar and from the cortisol-raising effect of caffeine, at a time when the pancreas is least prepared for it. Granola and breakfast cereals deserve mention as well. Despite their healthy marketing, most commercial granolas and cereals are high in refined carbohydrates and added sugars. Breaking a fast with a bowl of cereal in milk looks innocuous but produces one of the worst blood glucose responses possible in a fasted state. Now let us talk about what you should eat instead and why it works. The principle is straightforward. Start with protein. Add healthy fat, include fiber, and let carbohydrates come last, if at all, in your first meal. Protein is the cornerstone of a well-broken fast. Protein triggers only a minimal insulin response, while simultaneously stimulating the release of GLP-1 and CCK hormones that signal fullness and slow gastric emptying. This means that starting your meal with protein actively buffers the blood sugar impact of everything you eat afterward. 2 soft-boiled eggs, a portion of plain Greek yogurt, a small piece of grilled salmon, or a handful of nuts are excellent starting points. Healthy fats work in a similar way. Avocado, olive oil, and nuts slow the rate at which food moves through your digestive system, which naturally moderates how quickly any sugars reach your bloodstream. Eating fat alongside protein before any carbohydrates is one of the most effective strategies for preventing a post-fast blood sugar spike. Fiber from non-starchy vegetables acts as a third layer of protection. A few slices of cucumber, a handful of spinach, some cherry tomatoes, or a small portion of broccoli create a physical barrier in the gut that slows carbohydrate absorption. Research on meal sequencing has consistently confirmed that eating vegetables and protein before carbohydrates significantly reduces postprandial glucose peaks, even when the total food consumed is identical. Here is a practical first meal blueprint you can use starting today. Place 2 soft-boiled or poached eggs on a plate, with half an avocado sliced alongside it. Add 5 or 6 cherry tomatoes and a few cucumber slices. Drizzle with a little olive oil and add a small pinch of salt. Eat the egg and avocado first, then the vegetables. If you want carbohydrates, add a small portion of brown rice or 1 slice of whole grain bread 30 minutes later. This single plate delivers high-quality protein, heart-healthy, monounsaturated fat, fiber, and key micronutrients. And it produces a blood sugar response that is smooth, gradual, and easy on your pancreas. For a Korean-inspired variation, start with a bowl of miyeokguk, seaweed soup with egg stirred in. The soluble fiber from seaweed acts as a powerful blood sugar buffer, while the egg provides immediate protein. Follow this with a small portion of grilled fish or tofu as your protein centerpiece, and finish with a small bowl of brown rice last. This is a naturally sequenced, culturally familiar meal that checks every box for a healthy post-fast recovery. For a quick option on busy mornings, plain Greek yogurt with a small handful of walnuts and a few fresh berries is ideal. The yogurt provides protein, the walnuts provide fat, and the berries provide antioxidants with a low glycemic impact. This takes under 2 minutes to prepare and costs almost nothing. Here is a simple 7-day transition plan. On days 1 and 2, simply commit to eating an egg or a protein source before anything else when you break your fast. On days 3 and 4, add half an avocado or a handful of nuts alongside your protein. From day 5 onward, add non-starchy vegetables to build out the full plate. On day 6, practice eating your carbohydrates last rather than first. By day 7, the full meal sequence will feel natural, and you will likely notice your energy levels staying more consistent and your afternoon cravings significantly reduced. A few important cautions. People with type 1 or type 2 diabetes should consult a physician before adopting intermittent fasting, as fasting can interact with blood sugar medications and create hypoglycemia risk. Anyone taking insulin or glucose-lowering drugs should fast only under medical supervision. Intermittent fasting is not appropriate for pregnant or breastfeeding women, adolescents, or anyone with a history of eating disorders. If you experience severe dizziness, heart palpitations, heavy sweating, or extreme weakness while fasting, stop immediately and eat something. Intermittent fasting is one of the most evidence-backed health strategies available, but its benefits improved insulin sensitivity, fat burning, reduced inflammation, cellular autophagy are only fully realized when you break the fast correctly. 16 hours of disciplined fasting followed by a glass of juice and a bowl of cereal does not just waste those hours. It actively works against the metabolic health you are trying to build. Protein first, healthy fat alongside, carbohydrates last. 3 rules that take 30 seconds to remember and a lifetime to benefit from. If this video helped you, please like it and share it with someone doing intermittent fasting. Subscribe and hit the bell. Our next video reveals the ideal last meal. Before a fast that doubles your fat-burning results overnight.